What's good, my people? Donnie Chocolate here, the barbershop professor, covering academic subjects in a non-academic way, right? Giving it to you straight from the hip, right? Today's lesson is about to be about debunking arguments against reparations. Whew. Hey, if this is your second video, go and hit that like button, right? Hey, if you like what I'm about to say at the end of this video, make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe, share, press all the buttons. All right, let's get into it. So essentially, on my video that I'll have linked in the description about reparations, prove me wrong, I had someone in the comments write me an extensive comment, 3 paragraphs long, about multiple things. And what it did is inspired me to not just write something back, but to actually make a video. Okay? So, y'all might have to bear with me. I got my computer down here. I'm going to try not to go to it too much, right? Or anything like that. I'm trying not to go to it at all. But I do want to address some of the things that he said, right? And this is actually a general topic, right? This is people are going to say this. He's not the only person to say this. I think it probably was with good intention. I don't really think he was trying to be mean or discriminatory or anything like that. But this is what people think. So we'll start with the first thing, right? If we gave black people back reparations, then we would have to give back to all the people who've ever been discriminated on in the United States. Part of me wants to be like, okay, yeah, repair it. Like, do right by them. That is deserved. It's happened with like some Japanese people who were forced in internment camps. All of their property stolen, businesses shut down, everything like that. They had an opportunity to get some reparations, and they deserved that. America just forced them into camps based off of racism alone, right? Now, I'm not saying, I'm not sure, and I'm not going to claim that everybody got their just due. And also, money isn't even, money can only do so much, right? Money can't replace a home. Right? It can't replace a business. It can't replace, anything. It can't replace the trauma that you endured, right? What it does is give you an opportunity to actually access stuff and provide an easier life, and for there to be some type of repair for the harm and damage done, right, of the government before. The thing about this argument, though, we'll have to give money to everybody, is that I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about black people, African Americans, Afro Americans, whatever you want to call us. Not whatever you want to call us, whatever we call ourselves, right? Y'all know the group, right? Black people. I think this comes up a lot of times to take the spotlight off of black people and what this country has done specifically and uniquely to black people as a whole. Now, yes, there were some white people who were indentured service as well, right? They were mistreated and everything like that. That was based on a contract basis, and that was also not every white person who came over here based off the sole fact of them being black. That's it. That's all you had to do. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't a contract. It wasn't anything. We are talking about reparations for black people for the unique way they were oppressed over centuries. Okay? They were enslaved over centuries. And while my ancestors were enslaved, because they weren't slaves, they were enslaved, right? Other people developed immense amount of wealth off the backs of their labor. And they got nothing for that. This is why it's important to keep it on the focus. I'm talking about black people. And I have a reason. My reason behind that is because of the uniqueness of how black people were discriminated in this country. Not saying that nobody else was discriminated on. I definitely think there are two groups in this country that are uniquely or have been uniquely impacted by the racism and the racist policies of the U.S., that being the Native American people and the multiple tribes and nations that existed here for generations, and that of black people who were enslaved for the sake of having more melanin in their skin. Okay, there was that argument. The other thing they hit me with is, well, I heard somebody, prominent black person, say that during segregation, things were actually better. Black people had their own communities, their own doctors, their own stores, and they were able to work together. And after segregation, things were worse off. Black people were convinced to go to the white stores, whether that be grocery store. They were convinced to participate in white services, and those local and community businesses and services were dried out and closed, essentially, right? All right, let me tackle this one. Okay, so there is some truth to that. There was a stronger community bond between black people and the African American community during segregation. Now, that was not a benefit of segregation. That was in spite of segregation, right? Now, these are some of the same things that black people want to do right now, as far as communities and creating communal economies and different things like that. Like, that is good. And it was in spite of segregation, right? Now, the other thing is, after segregation, right? For instance, we talk about Ferguson versus the Board of Education, right? That was the ruling decision that separate but equal. You all heard that, right? Separate but equal is not real, and people have to be able to choose different schools, can't be discriminated on for race and different things like that. Boom, there it is. Cool. So when that happened, right, segregated schools essentially became integrated. What they did was they would bus people, black kids, out of their neighborhood into white schools. It did not happen the reverse way. It was not white people from the suburbs getting bused into the inner cities or like African American communities as well, right? So therefore, you had an extraction of children, students, out of the neighborhood, therefore out of the schools. Well, guess what? Those schools closed down based off of the policy, based off the school board decisions, right? When it came to, some schools need to close down. Well, which schools are we going to close? Let's close the black schools first. When you close the black schools, what happens? The black teachers are out of a job. The only choices a lot of them had was to go to a traditionally white school. And guess what? They weren't hiring black teachers. Maybe one or two would be lucky and get a job. But the whole school and admin and all the people who participated in that black school went without. Whatever certifications, degrees, experience they had could not be used because they were held out of that opportunity. It wasn't a mere convincing of black people to use a different store, right? Roads, highways. The reason we have so much traffic is based off of racism. I can go on, probably have to do another video about that. But essentially, Look at the city planning and where eminent domain happens. Eminent domains goes right through traditionally urban, black, poor neighborhoods and black neighborhoods, right? Whether that be like the L in Chicago, right? The elevated train, whether that be the highways, right? And the highway systems, whether that be new hospitals and infrastructure that happen, all those things were created and happened in mostly black neighborhoods. It's a systems thing. It's not a fact that, oh, hey, the white stores were better. They had cheaper prices. No. It happened that way by design. It happened that way to weaken the communities, the black communities. How can we extract wealth from them? Still. All right. So, what's another argument? If we give them money, cash payments in general. Gavin Newsom came out talking about he was against cash payments, right? Cash payments. One, if you want to say reparations should be paid in just more than cash payments, okay, fine. But you are being very disingenuous if you do not acknowledge the immense amount of wealth that was stolen from black people in this country do not deserve actual financial cash reparations. That's what was developed. That's what was stolen from us. That is a part of what we deserve, whether you like it or not. Now, there's this big but if we give them the money, what are you gonna do with it? What if they don't know how to use that money? What if they blow it all like in the lottery or something like that? My answer to that is one is very. That's like apologizing for something. Like, sorry I pushed you down, but don't walk there no more. Oh no, okay. Yeah, cool. You can't walk here. Stay off my porch. Or stay off our porch, right? That might be a bad analogy, but at the same time, you can't control that. It is so asinine and paternalistic to think that you have a right to control the wealth that was stolen from you and your ancestors. That makes no sense, right? That's one. Two, everybody ain't gonna blow the money. What do you think about black people, or what does it say about you and what you think about black people if you're like, but what if they blow the money? Do you think everybody's gonna blow the money? Do you think everybody is just gonna, do fancy cars and stuff like that? Do you think everybody gonna run it up like the COVID checks? Sure, some people will. Absolutely, 100%. But there's a lot of people with a lot of intention and looking to actually build communities, build legacies, teach, right? Grow structures, actually repair, right? Actually, who can teach, guide, encourage, help, serve other black people to work their way out of what has been the trauma that has been done to us, and that legacy and the continual impacts generations later. We deserve that money, whether you think whether you think we can handle it or not. It ain't your business. Third, taxes. Oh, but if it's going to come out your taxes, right? Then that's everybody essentially paying for it. Right? That's almost like black people paying for it themselves. No. I pay my taxes however much that is. That is nowhere near the wealth that was stolen from me, or my ancestors and me, my birthright. Nowhere near that. Go and give it to me. I ain't even worry about it. Go ahead and give it to me. That's fine. Right? Give me my money, because that's what I deserve. It's not, I don't feel taxes like I would feel an influx of cash reparations, an opportunity for somebody to buy a home, an opportunity for me to get rid of my student loans. That's a different discussion. An opportunity for somebody to actually start a business, an opportunity for somebody to live in a safer neighborhood, an opportunity for somebody to pay for their medical bills, an opportunity. The next thing is like, so there was probably a bunch of slave owners who were wealthy at one point and blew it all away and blew their money. Well, guess what? They had the opportunity to. We didn't. We deserve that opportunity. All right. Next. What was next? Let me see here. Well, I guess I'll leave it at that. Those are some of the arguments. Am I leaving something out? Big one. But how can we tell who deserves reparations? What if you moved here recently and you're black? What if you moved from the Caribbean and you're black? Here's my answer to this. One, America throws money at the wall when it comes to rich people all the time. They don't care who gets it, right? When it comes to everyday people, they want to try to ensure that the money goes to the right place. Okay. If that don't tell you something, then it should, right? Okay, so when it comes to recognizing who deserves reparations, right? Of course, we're going to have people who have been here, who have descendants who were enslaved in their lineage. There's that. But one thing I do want to press against is the fact that, like, if you moved here and your family didn't necessarily endure slavery, then you don't deserve reparations. Just like my reparations video about California, reparations is not only about slavery. If your family moved here in 1960 from Jamaica and you were black, you were still subject to the racist policies that disallowed you to fully participate in the system like other white folks did. So why are we acting like this is not a thing that people who have moved to this country experience as well? Now, however long you want to say, however many years back you want to say, well, Jim Crow, blah, 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 I guess we're going to have to figure that out. At the same time, again, these people deserve it, right? They deserve it. They do. They deserve something. I don't know how much. You can figure that out. Next, when it comes to that same argument, right? We know who deserves it. If you we have all these different forms that we have to fill out, job applications, school applications, and there's a little, it gets to like racial and ethnicity and stuff like that, and there's some little bubbles, right? And little bubbles say white, black, blah, blah, blah. If you have claimed you were black and you, for your life, essentially, if you have done that in the eye of the administration, go ahead. I know people who might be a quarter black who you wouldn't be able to tell they had any African ancestry, any black ancestry at all because of how light-skinned they might be. That don't mean that person don't deserve it. Now we get into an argument with that same person, right? That doesn't claim it, right? Not never put it on the bubble. Only partook in the advantages of whiteness essentially because you were light skinned. Well, you stepped out. That's already been proven. Nobody's about to put on a bubble that they're black because they waiting on reparations. Nobody is well, what's up for Rachel Dolezal, I guess. But that's a different story. No, most people, the vast majority of people, are not attaching themselves to black people or to being black because they understand what black people have to go through, especially in this country. All right, so that was a long one. If you made it all the way, you definitely got to subscribe. If you have another idea, another argument you want to talk about, put that in the chat. Put that in the comments. Let's get that discussion going. Let's get this thing cracking. I will forever believe that we deserve reparations. I'm sorry, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna move me off my square. And if you disagree with me, you better come with some facts. Don't give me no opinion. Tell me how things were different. State some laws, some policies, something like that. Give me some facts. I'm sick of people saying, no, you're wrong. How am I wrong? Maybe I am. I ain't perfect. But you're going to have to tell me how I'm wrong, especially with this. I'm bringing too much evidence. I'm stating too many things that you can go look into yourself to actually just say no. Anyway, let me get off that stuff. Love y'all. Again, Donnie Chocolate, Barbershop Professor. Peace.